do I know if I've forgiven somebody? I've struggled with this. My wife's been a great help with me with this because I externally process. I've got some people who have given me good reason to hold a grudge, people who I have not wanted to forgive. And I'm like, how in the world will I know if I've actually forgiven? I'm like, what, if I like them? So I was like, I don't like them. I still don't like them. Okay, I've been forgiving them, okay? I'm somewhere, okay, in this timeline. I don't know where I'm at, but I just know I still don't like them. And if, to be honest, if that's the litmus test, I'm probably never gonna forgive them because I don't think I'm ever gonna like it. I cannot foresee a day that I'm like, let's get dinner. Hey, send me a selfie of your steaks. Make sure put me in your Christmas card. Make sure you get me in your Christmas card list. I'd like to know how the year went. I don't see myself doing that. And I'm like, is that what it means? Is that what it means? Because there's some people who I just still don't like you. I don't want to be petty enough to unfriend you because I'm too classy for that. I just want to make you, I want to hit that button that makes your stuff not come up anymore. I don't want to see it, Don't act like you have not done that. Don't you judge me. Don't you judge me. If you haven't done it, it's because you didn't know you could, okay? Some of you, they're like, if she posts one more, I swear, you can go and you can make them disappear online. It's incredible. It's incredible. They don't even know. You didn't have to unfriend them, so it didn't go there. But you're just like, I just don't want to see them anymore. I don't have anyone like that. I know you guys have those type of people, so I'm here to serve you. How will I know? I'm gonna give you 4 things. These are things that I've learned myself, and these are things I've learned in listening to people who struggle with forgiveness as much as I do. The first is that that the offense or the attack or the trauma, over time, it becomes more of a reference point than a pain point. Becomes more of a reference point than a pain point. When we're back here in the healing process, it's painful. I can't even talk about it without getting mad. I can't talk about it without crying. I can't talk about it with having an emotional reaction. Over time, as I'm forgiving, and forgiveness and healing they're intertwined. If there's a forgiveness that needs to happen in your life, you will not fully heal until you forgive. I'm sorry, I know, it's just, you're like, but they gave me a good reason to be bitter. I know, I'm just telling you the truth. These are connected. And over time, if you'll walk through a healing, it will become less of a pain point and more of a reference point. I shared a story months ago of a friend of mine whose mother was murdered. She was stabbed to death. He knows where she was stabbed, how many times she was stabbed, the whole 9 yards. He's been in a process of healing and forgiving ever since, and he'll have good days and bad days, and there's some days that he imagines and plays the movie back in his mind and has a wave of anger, and so he's on the journey. Okay, is he ever gonna get to a place where he feels no pain about this scenario? Man, I think some things are are so intense and are so traumatic, so hurtful and so final, and so that I don't know that I'll say you'll never feel anything. He might, for the rest of his life, when he thinks about it, he might feel pain. But over time, if he'll take steps of forgiving and healing, and he'll allow the Lord to enter that in with him and have God show him stuff he never saw before, there will come a time that he'll feel less. It'll become more of a reference point. Hey, back in this year, this happened. There's some of you that can testify to this. There were some things that you went to not even being able to speak about it, to then you started to speak about it, but you couldn't get it finished, and then you finished it, and then you kept talking, and then eventually you were able to talk about it, and you didn't even break down. You were able to talk, and now you're being able to help people with it, because now you're talking to somebody, and you're their voice, because they can't even talk about it yet. They can't even talk. In fact, they don't want to think about it yet. But now you're talking, and you're talking from a place of healing that like pulls them into healing. And so it becomes more of a reference point over time than a pain point. The second thing is revenge and retaliation become a non-issue. When somebody hurts you, retaliation and revenge are normal thoughts. Okay, I'm gonna go get my pound of flesh. I'm gonna figure that. Some of you even start making plans. Okay, they did this to me, you know what? I'm gonna get them. I will get them once I get some money. When I get a position, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go undercut. I'm gonna come in the back door. They're not even gonna know. They'll think I forgot about it. And I'm gonna go, you start to hatch your plan and form your plan. And this is what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it. And so that's normal. That's normal. But over time, as you forgive, like if you're still there, if you're still, Lord, gonna execute the retaliation plan, you need to get in the forgiving, because the more that you do this, you start to lose the need to retaliate. You start to lose it. I don't need to do that anymore. So, and you know what? It's a progression. You're like, you know what? I used to want to kneecap them. Now I just want to talk about them. It's like, hey, you know, you're making progress. All right, we're somewhere on the timeline. We're moving in the right direction. The third one, and this is personal for me, is the discrepancy between when I say things like, I let it go, I really don't care, it doesn't bother me anymore. I say that with my mouth, but inside, I'm feeling a lot of emotion. Like if you got to think about your poker face while you're saying that, I'm healing, I'm forgiving, you know. I've messed this up. It's like, you know, I mean, I've forgiven them. I forgive him. I don't care anymore. I've forgiven him. I moved past it. You know what I mean? I've let it go. You know, I got no problem. I got no problem with him. I got no problem with her. You know what? I mean, it's in the past. I leave the past in the past. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about them anymore. I've let it go. All right, I've let it go. I'm done with. Okay, bro. Maybe there's a little emotion in there still. May still be a wound that's closing up in there. Okay, there may be something being put back together, and yet. That's part of the journey. That's part of the journey. And if I can let it go, I can let it go without the fact that I'm still volatile. I'm still upset about it. And give yourself grace in that journey. But that's a part of it. And the third is, this is tough. Can I accept the fact that God loves that person as much as he loves me? Or is that thought or concept in and of itself triggering? So just that concept that God might love them as much as he loves me, just the thought, the suggestion is triggering and angering. If that's you, you're still in that process of healing. I'll give you this last thing. Unforgiveness is more intertwined in other areas of your life than you know. For example, it affects your ability to rest. We talked about rest a few weeks ago. Come to me, all you who are weary and you carry heavy burdens, and I'll give you rest. If you are harboring bitterness, it depletes you. It's draining you. It drains your energy. It burns hot and then burns. I mean, I'm telling you. So if you're going, man, I just can't figure it out. I can't figure out why I can't rest. I've been taking my day off. I've been taking trips. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. I'm walking around in nature. I'm whistling Dixie. I'm doing my favorite hobbies. And you're just like, I can't rest. You might want to go and look around and search a bit. Is there any unforgiveness and bitterness in your heart that might be draining you, making it so that you can't rest? It's intertwined in your worldview and how you view humanity as a whole. If you're one of these people starting to go, everybody's nuts, everybody's a jerk, everybody's bad, you start painting mankind with broad strokes, and you start taking whole swaths of people and creating all these. A lot of times you track that down to one person. There is an unforgiveness, there's a bitterness in your heart that's clouding your lens on everyone. So people that had nothing to do with that are now getting painted with that broad brush that you're putting on them. It comes back to that. Here's the big one I found for me, how intertwined this is. My capacity for giving grace and forgiveness to other people is intertwined with my ability to give grace and peace to myself. I want you to think about this. Think about Jesus looking at the Roman soldier, not just seeing a two-dimensional character. He's like, this is a fifth-generation soldier that thinks he's protecting God and country, and he thinks he's doing a good thing, and he's been desensitized to violence, and he thinks I'm nuts, and he thinks the walking on water thing never happened, and he thinks I'm a sleight of hand huckster, and he thinks he's doing everyone, Jews, Gentiles, Romans, he thinks he's doing everyone a favor. He doesn't get. To be able to look that many layers deep into that guy, if you can do that, you can do the same thing for you. And often people, they keep the judgments and the bitterness and the offense on the surface for everybody else end up suffering because they can't do it for them and they can't do it for themselves. So they give themselves no grace. Friend, if you think bitterness is gonna lead you to being more protected and more safe, you have believed a dangerous lie. You're supposed to be free. You're supposed to be free. And you're not gonna be free harboring bitterness and allowing that to erode. It's toxic. So Jesus, with his final breaths before his crucifixion, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they do.